Hey everyone, glad to see you again on the channel. Like always, this is Rich making another movie about XRP. Today we're going to talk about XRP. I hope everyone is having a great day no matter where they are in the world. I have to start with this. From CoinDesk, a new poll found that 50% of financial advisors plan to grow their crypto holdings this year. Crypto is now something that all of them talk about. Also, they're talking about ETFs. But the financial experts need to get on board because things are changing. These days, people don't want the stock market to go up or down by 5% or 10%. The huge price jumps that happen in the crypto space are something that people want. That being said, this will also make more people use crypto because, let's face it, if a guy makes 30% on a cryptocurrency, he'll tell all his stock investing friends, "Man, I just made so much money in crypto." They'll think, "Wow, I need to join in with crypto too." But the financial advisors have to lean this way or they'll be left behind in the future. David Schwartz talks about mass adoption and giving people who don't have bank accounts access to them. Listen to this. I think that both DeFi and blockchain technologies are about to be widely used by businesses. I also think this is one of the main reasons why big retailers don't use it. A lot of people in the space used to think that retail adoption was the big wave, but I think institutional acceptance comes before it. You need to meet people where they are. You need to find the value. If you want to start a new financial system from scratch, you can't just ignore the old one. That's where everyone's money is, where all the value is, and where the real world is worth trillions of dollars. You can't just say, forget about that, let's make something new over here. So I think this wave of institutional adoption over the next year or two will make it possible for a lot of stores to move on board. After that, we can keep our vows, so let's all bank the people who don't have one. But people who don't have bank accounts need to be able to spend their money on things like food and phone bills. So we need to be able to join those institutions, and I don't see any problems. That seems like this meeting, I believe, proves that. That's why he says it will happen in 2 years. That's what I said. You could see that everything was getting faster. It's no longer slowing down. Now that Trump is in charge and the SEC and CFTC are both in favor of crypto, the US has become open. We are almost there with institutional adoption, which will then lead to mass acceptance. I want to stress that because many people still think it will be 10 years from now. Everyone is still thinking about 2030. People need to understand that this is going to happen a lot faster. Now, there's a big fight going on all over X about how XRP isn't for most people and is only for banks, but I want to take you back to 2013 with this quote from David Schwartz. Remember that this is how everyone thought about crypto back then. He says that Ripple will make it harder for governments that abuse power to control their people through their banking systems, in the same way that the internet has made it possible for even the most oppressive governments to stop their citizens from reading Western news and writing blogs about how things are in their country. It looks like Ripple could let oppressive governments force their people to keep currencies that they can later devalue. That was always the goal, getting away from the US dollar and government power. But I think Ripple changed its mind along the way, which was good for small players like us. People were able to get XRP for very little money. Take a look. We would have to pay a lot more for XRP if the banks got it before us. People got very rich in crypto because of that way of thinking back then, and they will continue to get rich in the future. You got something done before the institutions did for the first time in history. This is how Brad thinks right now. Now that Ripple is here, it's not like this when it was the Wild West of crypto. 95% of our buyers are not from the United States. This part of the world makes up about 40% of our business in terms of payment flow. Our customers are banks, other banking institutions, and payment providers. To go over this one more time. The XRP ledger and the XRP token are what we use to make these trades possible. Some folks get mixed up about which is which. However, please keep in mind that all of these banks and other financial institutions are Ripple's users. Also, we're not Ripple's clients. Retailers aren't Ripple's client. On the other hand, anyone can hold XRP and use the XRP database, but it wasn't really not meant for stores at first. Back then, it was always meant for stores. That's the change that took place. It's likely that if institutions got XRP before us, we would buy it at $15 or more, or at least $10 or more per XRP, because these coins will never be the same again once the institutional wave of liquidity comes in. It's a good thing that Ripple was against the government and the US dollar even back in 2013. They were for the people. They are still today. I'm telling you that you can't keep regular people from buying XRP right now. But if they could, they'd love to shake us out. This is new to me and comes from Eleanor Tourette. The White House is working hard to get a bill about safe coins to the Senate floor next month. And as I said, growth is taking place. They need to pass this SafeCoin bill as soon as possible. As we said before, we didn't think this would happen until the end of summer. It looks like it will happen by the end of spring. Then they'll get to work on crypto and a clear way forward for making crypto regulations clear. And that will make this whole area bigger. Tokenized US gold could be good for Bitcoin in the long run. It's clear that they want to change the subject to Bitcoin. Bitcoin ends with tokenized gold. It means Bitcoin is no longer digital gold. What if you could instantly change the value of gold all over the world for less than a penny? That would change everything. They also try to keep up this story about Bitcoin. When something seems like it could hurt Bitcoin, they have to spin it right away. It will be huge when gold is turned into tokens. As I already said, this is also going on. It's interesting that the IMF chose to call utility coins securities, but they called them debt securities. There's a change. Bitcoin is on the list of ways to pay and trade value, but it won't be a part of the new financial system. I just went over this with IMF paperwork yesterday. This is what David Schwartz said, but it says that utility tokens are tokens that can be used to pay for a good or service with money from someone who can't be identified. The only big token that comes to mind isn't one I know of. He then says, I believe it to be true, but it seems odd to consider a stablecoin as a utility token. The way they define it might be wrong. Their definition is fine with me. I believe it's the way they said it. Security for debt. This is what they and the IMF are telling you. In the new financial system, the digital financial system, they are going to use utility coins. When it comes to Bitcoin, it will be kept separate in the cash account, and it's likely that the IMF will make it relevant to you. That's why the IMF told El Salvador to stay away from Bitcoin. They even told the US that holding Bitcoin is not a good plan. The ECB agrees, the BIS agrees with you. In any case, they'll just control it from abroad. That's what I see taking place. They will control it so much that it won't, and all of a sudden things will be useful. This was put out by Uphold earlier today. We can't move forward because of old payment systems. In fact, the CEO did talk about this. Hey, Simon McLaughlin, an old method that costs a lot. He didn't like Swift at all. He's telling you that Swift is bad and that we need something better next. He also talks about fiat currencies and how safe coins can be used to get fiat currencies. Then he talks about giving small businesses and workers more power and how a new or improved system can make things fair for everyone, the world market, and let everyone take part in it. Then he talks about giving cash to people who don't have any. This is what everyone sees right now, which is why Uphold brought it up. They know that the way things are now isn't working. They understand that everyone wants the same thing: fast, cheap, safe, real-time payments, a level playing field, and banking for people who don't have bank accounts. That's what Ripple wants to do too. And that's what Stellar wants to do. All of these ISO-compliant cryptocurrencies are linked to helping people who don't have bank accounts get them and making the playing field level. But it's true, Swift has been around for 50 years and needs a big makeover. That's why Ripple will take Swift's business. Larry Fink says the market is going to crash soon. Listen to this. Yes, it is making them angry. It would surprise me if inflation stayed high for another 5 months. It wouldn't surprise me if we started talking about a scarier economy at every COI meeting. A lot of it is fear. But, I think this will only last for a short time.